Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Ask Trish Anything. I am Trish Lee and welcome to my show. Today we're going to be talking about bullies. Bullies at school, bullies at work, bullies at home, cyberbullying, you name it. I think that many of us can relate to this topic. I believe that many of us at one point of our lives, we must have came across a bully. So in this show today, this is the question that I received. What are some tips for dealing with bullies? And the most suitable person that comes to mind to answer this question is a fellow YouTuber who I find seriously very inspirational. He's a programmer by day, a spiritual philosopher by night. Please allow me to welcome Ken J. Knight. Hello. Hello, Ken.
Here I am.
How are you doing?
Trish,
Yeah.
I am so excited. This is like my first interview, video, chat type of slash podcast ever. I feel like a rock star. Thank you so much. And
You
we can
are
find
a rock star.
No. And by the way, hi, Trish's viewers. I hope you're gonna be entertained and you can grab some few juicy nuggets of wisdom with you.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Ken, thank you so much for coming onto my show. I am really honored to have you here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. By the way, perfect subject. Like you gave me two options.
Okay.
Fortunately, I don't have any lasting childhood traumas, but bullying. Oh my God, my heart started pumping, my mind started spinning, my hair gears started turning. I can finally tell my story to the world, and it's cathartic for me. Do you know what cathartic means? The word I just learned it recently. Cathartic.
Revolutionary? No.
It means to release strong blocked emotions. So it's gonna be a healing for me. It's gonna be a
Okay.
healing, and hopefully it's gonna help somebody. How are
I'm
you?
sure. I'm sure. I always love your stories. It's always very inspirational and motivational. I learn a lot through all your videos. Seriously, Ken. And for all of you who's watching, if you have any questions, please do drop it in the comment section and we will address it at the end of the show. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Ken, ready to go?
Fired up.
Okay. So let's start by you introducing a little bit about yourself, what you do for a living. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I started my YouTube channel, and I always like to say,
okay,
I'm nobody special. I'm just a regular dude with too many thoughts in my head. But I'm suspecting that I have a little imposter syndrome. If anybody doesn't know what that is that where you doubt your own talents and skills because you're afraid to being seen as fake, as somebody fake. So I hate comments, compliments. I hate it because usually I feel I don't deserve them. But let me tell you, like, no one is worthless. No one is worthless in this world. We are all talented in our own way. It's like, don't judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, But my soul, I like to say now that my soul lives in the universe, but my body was born in Estonia 33 years ago. So if anybody doesn't know where Estonia is, I have a little globe here. So it's in Northern Europe, under Finland, next to Russia, a small place. We invented Skype. We love to sing. And we are known for our pretty girls, just like Trish here.
Thank you. Thank you.
But what makes me special, what I like about myself, is that I have this ability to adapt, to blend, to empathize with people. I see the bigger picture. I'm not stuck in some sort of a religion or a country or ideology or politics or whatever. I feel it's really important not to limit yourself.
Right.
But if you're going to limit yourself, right, then limit yourself consciously. Like if you want to be a Christian, but don't say that other religions are bad. Just if you're getting stuck in your own tunnel or so to me, it doesn't matter where you're born, what color is your skin, what shape is your eyes. I love it all. And that's thanks to my small country, Estonia, because big countries, they usually do a lot of propaganda to keep the masses in in check, thanks to that small country. But now, Trish, this is important. Yeah. When I was born, my parents got divorced. And I got to move around a lot. I changed my home 18 different times. I changed my
Oh,
school 5 times. I lived in new cities, new friends, basically new lifetimes. I called myself a gypsy.
all right.
And that's gone on to my adult life. I've done 20 different jobs. I lived in New York. I lived in London. I've met with hundreds of people and hundreds of ideas, and they've all affected me.
Mm.
Uh, so there is no single truth out there for me. Like, you have to look at this life as a whole. And what I've seen is that life is scary, right? Life is fun. Life is exciting, but also life is boring and depressing and sad sometimes, and
It's a
lonely.
mix. Yeah.
Yeah. But then life is also, happy and sexy. Life is an adventure. But like, what an
Sexy. I never heard someone said that before.
yeah. But it is an amazing opportunity. And then, so this is my message to the world. This is that life is a ride. You have to love life. Anybody in the chat who loves life? Do you love life,
Agreed.
Trish?
But Ken, I think that now that I know that you've traveled so much, I'm pretty sure that you might have bumped into some bullies in your life. Yes?
Sure. And exactly. What I love about this is, this is also important to the bully story, is I
Okay.
also love Kung Fu movies.
Oh,
I love martial arts. I love Jackie Chan was my hero, right? I did
same.
karate for, yeah, nice. I did karate for 6 years and kickboxing for
Oh,
4.
me too. Okay, not six
Oh,
years, but okay. Anyway.
but yeah, so hitting someone in the face or anywhere and getting hit into the face was not new to me. Have you ever hit somebody in the face with your
Oh yeah.
fist? Yeah,
Yep. But not. I think maybe not that hard until some people I've seen they've like hurt their fists, so not that hard maybe. But yeah.
but you've been fighting with somebody.
Oh,
Oh,
brother,
I
I
can see
haven't
you're a
touched on
brawler.
that.
You're a street brawler. Watch out, guys. Watch out.
But yeah, please continue.
But still, I like to think of myself as a gentleman.
Right.
Gentle, calm man. Words over violence, mind over body. But I do believe that fighting is important because I also believe in Tao, in balance. So fighting is just one half of the coin, and this world needs chaos in order for the peace to exist. And that's why I love philosophy, asking questions. I ask questions ever since I was little. I was asking my mom, what happens when we die? Mom, what happens? Where are all the aliens? Mom, uh, is magic real? And that continued on to this day, where I'm asking big questions like, what's the point of life, or is there true happiness? And
Right.
that's why I started my YouTube channel, to put my chaos into structure, to learn to focus my thoughts and tell stories, and to inspire life in people, and make
And
cool
that's why
friends
I
along the
connected
way.
with you.
Make cool
Because
friends along the way, exactly. Just how we
exactly.
met you. Thank you so much again for this amazing opportunity, Trish.
No worries, Ken. I'm like I said, I'm glad you're here.
First
So
interview, woo!
I'm glad, and I'm on the first one here to have you on my show. That's great. Uh,
Amazing.
so yeah, share with us what is your experience with bullies?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna give a little bit of a teaser to everybody
Sure.
who's watching, or everybody who's future watching and anything, so you get a little taste. I was bullied hard for almost 2 years.
Okay.
I got into a lot of fights. I got my clothes torn off. I got my backpack destroyed. I lied to my parents, and I was actually forced to carry a knife with me to violently protect myself.
Oh.
Yeah. I joined the gang. I was forced to buy fake weed and stolen items, and I was afraid of my life. But in the end, I ended befriending two of my bullies. So if that story is going to be interesting to you, please stick around. We get into this ugly world of bullying, and in the end, I will share my takeaways. We go through advices, we analyze stuff, and we're going to also, like Trish said, we're going to also talk about cyberbullying, which is, I think, even worse than real bullying, because back then you just went home, you get bullied, you went to school, you came
Right.
back, and it was fine. It was your sanctuary. But now the bullies come with you, with your smartphones. They're everywhere. They follow you home,
Yeah,
and it's
I
even worse.
agree. Personally, I have faced bullies. I think any aspect of life, you name it, whether or not it's school, whether or not it's at home, whether or not it's with a colleague or cyberbullying. it's really interesting that you mentioned about we having our phones and now we're on social media and everything. I think cyberbullying right now is really impacting the younger generation a lot, a
Oh
lot.
yeah, oh yeah. I have many thoughts about that. I have many thoughts. We're gonna
Okay,
crack down it.
coming back to just now what you were saying about you were bullied for 2 years. How old were you back then? Sorry.
Um, I was 12 and 13, but I will tell you my story. It's gonna be fun. But
Yeah, yeah, please.
I was thinking, but before we go into that juicy part,
Sure.
let's just set the premise. What is bullying in general?
Okay.
Because it is a big topic. It's a complex topic, and I did some research and I got so many ideas, and I'm interested what you think as well. But did you know that bullying originally meant something else? Like, do you know what bullying meant
Oh
back in
no,
the old days?
enlighten me,
No?
please.
Right. So it comes from a Dutch word boel, which means lover. What?
What?
So bully meant sweetheart actually,
Okay.
right? So but we know it as a strong, intimidating the weak, right? When we picture bullies, it's usually in schools, locker rooms, but bullies come from all ages and all forms. Yeah, you of course you agree.
I agree.
So there are like mild forms of bullying as well, which is happens in work or home, where basically somebody, just a colleague, casually ignores you, for example,
Yep.
or you've been left out of email lists or chat groups, or
Or
there are like,
gossip.
yeah, exactly, or like jokes which are bordering on insults.
Yep.
You know any other examples of mild bullying? Like you said,
I
rumors,
wouldn't say
gossip is a big one. Yeah.
mild bullying. Yeah, there's a mix. But for me, if we were talking about in terms of work, my experience with my one of my ex boss, it was a lady. Everything I did was never good enough for her,
Mm.
ever. Like everything I did, she would be able to find something in between the lines. She'd be like, "No, Trish, 1 cm to the left. No, one letter too big. Everything. She could find something. Just nothing was good enough for her. And to me, once or twice it's like, okay, maybe it's me. But after a while, it's like, that can't be.
Why you
That
do
can't be.
that? No. But yeah, so bullying is somewhere between inappropriate behavior and serious bodily injury or harm, right? So,
Yeah.
but the effects are mental strain, where you are embarrassed, emotional pain, where you feeling shamed, or physical pain, which is like loss of sleep and headaches and stomachs and stuff.
Yeah.
And extreme cases end up in death, right? By the way, I heard that were you bullied? Like you always like to tell the story about your close family member,
Yeah.
your brother, was it?
Yes. If in terms of my home, yeah, my bully was actually my brother. Um, it's really, I don't know, sad, I guess, because in the beginning, when we were younger, we were really close, and then as he went through puberty, he, I guess, befriended the wrong friends, and these friends were like gangs and wanted to be cool, and
Whoa.
fighting was the thing,
Yeah.
and they liked to watch wrestling, and it changed him. It really changed
Yeah.
him. He wasn't
The
that
vicious
that,
circle.
that yeah, he wasn't that sweet brother that I kind of knew, and he started to have anger management issues. So when he was angry, a few times he couldn't control himself. Well, guess who was the guinea pig? Me. And you know, you would think that if he would just verbally be
Mm.
abusive, that's bad, but enough. But no, he was physically abusive, and I have mentioned this before to a point that I nearly lost my life, and
Damn.
I feel it's that's why it's really important to me today's show, because I believe that bullies really exist in so many different forms, so many different
Yeah.
ways. And I really wish that I could turn back time sometimes to tell myself back then I should have spoken up, should have. But
Yeah.
being the victim, sometimes I don't understand why we think that it's our fault, and so we just keep quiet, we just accept it. But that's not right. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, that is, and that was life threatening as well. You
it
said
is.
something, and most of these cases they really are ending in suicide, which is sad. I did some research, and I see these young girls who taken their own lives because somebody said to them that they're ugly. That was not the only thing, of course. There's the tipping point, but
Yeah.
they're beautiful girls.
Ken, I'm sorry, I have to cut you off here because this was actually something that I experienced myself, not to me per se,
Yeah.
but back when I was in 2014 in the Miss Universe Malaysia pageant, and towards the finals, our photos were put onto Facebook, and people could comment, the photo shooting,
Yeah.
like who liked what, and
Uh-oh.
um, one not one, but there was a couple of people who were not so nice to one of this contestant. Okay, maybe she's not the most prettiest girl. Okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
But she was a young girl. I think she was about 16, maybe. And I was so inspired by her that she had the courage to join. I can tell you, Ken, to join a beauty pageant takes a lot of courage. Okay,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not just
imagine.
it's not just going there and all right, let me just stand on
Oh, no, no,
stage,
no. I would never do that.
just wear a bikini and look nice. Oh no, no, you need a lot of courage. Okay, and
Heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she was there. I was 23 and she was 16. I was like, girl, what are you doing here? and 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 she was so. But coming back to the photo, it was on Facebook, and one or two of these people, just random people, commented to her and said, "Oh my God, how did you even become a finalist? You should just go kill yourself." Literally, someone said that. Right? Yeah, that was when I read that, I was like, how could you say that? What if she had suicidal thoughts? Like, are you even thinking? And in this
Words.
moment, really, words can kill. I was thinking in this moment, should I keep quiet or should I speak up? And I'm glad I spoke up.
Oh,
I
thank God.
replied to this person and I said, you know what? If you have something nice to say, then say it. But when you have nothing nice to say, please just keep your comments to yourself. Um, if you think that it's so easy to just join a pageant, then why don't you try? Rather than being here and
Burn.
yeah, really, rather than being here and giving your nonsense comments, which is not appreciated. So yeah, the person didn't reply. And the sister of this contestant also actually added on and said that, hey, can you don't be so mean? What if my sister really had suicidal thoughts? And so yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
long story
words.
short, I completely have seen cyberbullying and it's really not nice. It's not nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it does not only end with one life.
Yeah.
These people are sometimes taking many lives with them. And I also saw that there are so many school shootings in America and in all over the world. Like Virginia Tech shooting was 2007, which ended with 33 deaths. And I
Mm,
read that he was incredibly lonely. And
mm,
Sandy Hook, 2012, the most famous one, took 28 lives.
yep.
And everything went wrong in his life. He had deep depression and mental health issues. And the saddest thing is, Trish, that these people, they die in the end. They commit suicide or they're being shot dead, and we can't get to learn why. Why did you do it? What went through with
Right.
you? So we can prevent this. And we have this movie called Class in
Mm-hmm.
Estonia, Estonian film made in Estonia, Estonian actors, very good movie, Class, like a classroom, which tells a story of a whole journey from a normal guy to becoming a school shooter.
Mm,
And he got bullied hard, and it's a heartbreaking movie where he had bad parents at home, which really broke him in the end. And I did a video this week about like the evil of man. Where does the evil come from? And I
saw
was
that.
get to thinking, and
Nice video, by the way.
Thank you so much. And if anybody didn't see that, I talked about this Texas Tower sniper in 1966, where this guy killed 16 people, including his mother and girlfriend, wife, which he left notes where he said, "I love the best wife, the best mother I ever had. I did a quick job so they wouldn't hurt." Then he climbed the tower and shot 14 other people coldly,
Mm.
and then he was shot dead. But he left a note saying that my head hurts. There's something wrong with my brain. Please check me out. Like, do an autopsy, find and make sure this never happens again. And like SWAT teams in America even were created because of that incident, because they didn't have quick responders. But so the autopsy did reveal that there was a little tumor in his brain,
Mm.
and the doctors thought that it did contribute to his inability to control his emotions and actions. So some bad people, like the baddest, the serial killers, something's wrong with them physically, right? But I was wondering, what makes you evil? What makes you attack somebody if there is nothing physically wrong with you? So my idea was that everything starts from home, right? You don't like in class. This guy had bad parents. He was bullied at home. He was bullied at school. So it's lack of love, lack of kindness, lack of sense of self-esteem, self-respect. Everything's gone. They have like narrow vision. They're living in a toxic environment, and there is no escape. They're just kids who are wanting for attention. And like, what do you think? What do you think some people bully? Does it start from home?
I'm really glad that you touched on this, because I always used to wonder, so what makes a person a bully? Um,
Mm,
I believe that there
exactly.
is a mix of things. And what you just now said, this story of this guy who was a sniper shooter, or I think this is a bit more extreme case. He
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
tumor.
of course.
But if we talk about a general bully that you see at work or at home, maybe, I feel it's I'm going to talk about my own brother, because this is something that I can
Hmm.
really,
From the heart.
yeah. Um, I feel that it really boiled down to him battling with low self-esteem. On the outside,
Hmm.
he used to be like, "Oh, I'm a big tough guy. You know, nothing can
Yeah,
pull me down. You know, I'm the king of the world. I'm king of the jungle. You know." And
yeah.
then I like he felt like he needs to prove himself all the time, and I don't know why, but he just felt like he had to prove himself all the time.
With
Um,
fists.
yeah, like you said, I think it's like, what was that, imposter syndrome? You know, he
Yeah.
feels like he's not good enough, but he can't just talk about it. He had to use toughness to show that, yeah, I need respect, and I'll get respect with physical force. um and the other part was, I don't know how this unhealthy thought came to his mind, but he always felt that my parents were siding me. Now, I need you to think about this for a moment, Ken, because you might be thinking, or the audience might be thinking, yeah, it might be normal because I'm the younger one, so parents always cite the younger one. But interestingly, he felt like this for many years. I felt like this, that my parents were citing him for many
Oh
years,
man.
and then
Confusion.
exactly, and it came to a point where I remember I was about 16, 17 years old, and one day I had a deep conversation with my mom. And I had a heart-to-heart talk with her, and I said, "Mom, I don't understand, why do you side my brother all the time?" You know what she said? She
What?
paused for a moment. She looked at me and she said, "That's interesting. That's exactly what your brother feels."
Oh,
In this moment,
communication
Ken,
error.
yeah, in this moment, Ken, I realized to myself how a stupid person I was. Like, how can it be that we both felt the same way? Obviously, what was the problem was we were only choosing to see what we wanted to see.
Yeah,
This was the problem. We were
yeah.
comparing.
Confirmation bias. Yeah.
Yeah, we were comparing for nothing. And from that moment on, I never saw it that way, that my parents were setting him. Never. But for him, it never stopped. He always felt like I was smarter than him. I was taller than him. Okay, yes, I was taller. I am taller than him, but okay, that's beside the point. Um, and I think that added to his low self-esteem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I've had a talk with him a few times already, and I always tell him, you know what, brother, I'm not smarter than you. the truth is, it's just that I study more than you. That's it. He doesn't like to study. That's it. And he knows that. He's better with his hands, and I am not so good with my hands. He's
Exactly.
more a technical person.
Everybody has talents inside of
Yeah,
them. You
but he
just have
doesn't
to find it.
accept that. He just thinks that, oh yeah, I'm born smarter. I'm just lucky. I'm born with more better looks and stuff like that. But I said, come of it. I said, you have your talents, but he didn't want to accept that. And so coming back to being a bully, I feel that he just didn't know how to deal with that anger and that feeling of being not good enough, that he had to put me down to make himself feel
Yeah,
better. So
I'm gonna talk about that. How they need the validation of being
yeah,
better. They need to win. So yeah, bullies come from. They come from like they want to climb social ladder. They want to be cool.
yeah,
What was done to them, they want to, do something. Just revenge. Or I don't think anybody just wants to be the bad guy. Nobody just wants to be the bad guy. Just
right.
cause suffering out of fun. I don't. I don't believe that. There's always something wrong, or there's something physically wrong. But again, one final question before I kind of jump into my story. I think.
Sure.
Have you ever bullied someone yourself? Because we have
That's
to
a really,
think. Like
yeah,
anybody
that's
in
an
the chat
interesting
as well.
question.
We have to think.
And I believe I've done many mistakes in my life, but if I were to say bully, I don't think so. Of all the mistakes that I've done, I don't think I've bullied someone. And the reason for that is because I've been bullied badly myself many times in
Yeah,
my
you
life.
don't want anybody
So
else feel the same
I
way.
w- the thing, if I could ever avoid it, I would avoid passing that on. I would rather
Yeah,
pass on kindness than to pass on this
sure.
bully.
I feel like even people in the chat, like, think about it. Maybe you've done it subconsciously. I'm sure nobody here is a bully, but I know that I've done it. I've lost my best friend because of it. Because just a quick story that when I was 16, me and my friends, we were teenagers. We were like always bragging with each other, saying, "Hey, you fat ass," "Hello, hello," like saying this type of stuff that boys do with each other. Nothing harmful, out of heart, right? So my cousin, who was my best friend at the time, he was a bit more sensitive, an introvert, and I started doing this with him, a little tugging him, a little bit
Yeah,
disrespect,
yeah,
little jokes bordering on insults and everything. But he was going through a really tough time at the time. He was really sensitive, and he just
right.
closed off, and he didn't want to
Oh,
speak to me anymore. And I kind of destroyed that connection for over 10 years. Just a month ago,
mm,
I met him again. And I talked through the heart to heart, and I said I'm sorry about this, and he was like, "Yeah, thanks," and we're good. We're good now. I didn't do it intentionally. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to drive him away, but I didn't even know that I was bullying him. I
right.
was. It took many weeks for him to finally snap and say, "I don't want to talk to you anymore." So we just gotta have to be careful of our words, because as you said, words
Yes,
kill.
it does. It does.
Yeah.
And it's really good that you actually had the humility to actually apologize and build that
Oh,
relationship
it
back.
was burning on my heart. I couldn't, like, I made several mistakes in my life as well, but I always want to, like, take care of them now, like, in this
That's good.
spiritual journey. So, ready for the story?
Ken, I have a
Oh,
I have a I have a question for you.
oh, go
Oh, by
ahead.
the way, hello Kathy. Good morning to you
Hello,
too.
Kathy.
Thank you for joining
You
us.
haven't missed anything, Kathy.
um, Question for you: if there is someone who is facing a bully, let's focus on school first. What would you advise them?
Hmm. I have very I have strong. Oh, Trish. Can I tell my story first, and
Yeah,
then I will
sure.
say, because
Okay.
then we get this out of the way, and I
Yeah.
will give solid, really good, solid advice that you can really take and apply.
Okay. I got my notebook out with my pen. Okay.
Sure, I will answer them for sure. I am very excited to go into that to help, because I at the time had no idea, and I think maybe I would have killed somebody, or I would have been killed.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell my story,
Sure.
if
Take
you
it away.
allow me. And again, I have good memory, and you brought all these emotions back to me with what you want. Let's talk about bullies, Trish said. So I was like, oh God, it's gonna be. So let's go back in time.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old, 12, 13. It was 6th, 7th grade. Right now I'm 32, so that's 20 years ago, almost. I've just moved back from a capital of my country to a little town, well, second largest town, which was where I was born, and that was my third school. And so it's a new day, new classroom, first day on the classroom. I step in, but something had happened to my body. Hormones play tricks. I had facial hair. I had the
Oh.
mustache, right? And 12-year-olds really don't have that type of a problem. And I also like wearing suits in special occasions, right? I like wearing suits. Be smart. But that suit for me that day was a bit too big. I was a skinny kid, right? So, and the teacher also made things so awkward. He made a big deal about me coming from a capital, being a big city boy, right?
Mm.
So these three elements, mustache, weird looking dude, foreign, coming from a capital, I think that like got the attention of two of my bullies in my class.
Okay.
So bullies usually work in groups, and they belong to a gang. And yeah, Estonia 2000 had gangs, and not like gangs in New York where they do drive-bys. They were just bored little kids who the biggest crime that they do is stealing some candy from supermarkets, or like beating somebody up. But mostly they were just giving each other attention.
Mm.
And this gang was called the Flower Gang.
Oh.
Oh, scary, right? It's a little bit more intimidating in Estonian. Lilla Kamp rules, which is Flower Gang rules. They had a tag,
Okay.
but that was because they were hanging out in this old abandoned building, which was their base on a flower street,
Oh. Okay.
right? But coming back to my first day on a recess,
Mm.
uh, the two of the guys, they asked one of their other members to walk up to me and punch me in the face on the first day. I heard that, and then he walked up to me and punched me in the face. I was shocked. I was dazed. I was like, does this really happen?
For
So
no
he was
reason.
gonna, yeah, just for fun. And they were laughing. And he was gonna punch me again, but now I was a karate master, right? What? And I was starting to defend myself and hit back, or like karate chop him. But you see, they were street fighters. They were street brawlers. They did boxing. So they were used to fighting. I was just, and I got hit 2 more times. My head was dizzy. Everything was up, and something happened. Everybody has a defense mechanism. So, like, what you cry, you run away. Mine is I start to laugh for some reason. I don't know why. And I put my hands up. I understood that I'm no match for him. He's much better fighter than I am. I said, "You hit so hard. You're so strong. You're so good. Thank you." What did I do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was laughing, and he backed away, and they were laughing. Um,
Oh.
but my precious ego. I was a kid from capital, and I was their number one target from that day one. So on the second day, these two bullies from my classroom, they followed me home, and they mocked me, they intimidated me, and I was a talker. I had to say something back, of course. And so they jumped me, they attacked me, they ripped all my clothes off, almost, and they trashed my backpack, my school backpack. When I got home, my father asked me, of course, what happened
Mm.
to you, buddy?
Yeah.
But I wanted to be cool. I didn't want to get my father
Yeah.
involved. You don't they
They want to make
embarrass
it
you.
great. Yeah.
Sure. And that's one of the bigger problems that I'm gonna touch upon, that we are so afraid of our image, and being looking weak to our classmates and something. So I lied to him. And so yeah, I started lying to him. But again, the gang members. So
Mm.
there were two guys in my classroom and three girls. One which I ended up dating, actually. But there were also other members and other classrooms and other schools, and some of these members were 2, 3, 4 years older than me, so they had more strength than my 12-year-old body. Right?
Okay.
And my father used to give me an allowance, like 10 euros per week to buy some lemonade and candy or something. But it was taken from me, always taken from me. There was this one big guy who grabbed me by the throat and just lifted me up like I was some cartoon animal and punched me in the stomach and said, "Give me all your money. And here you go, sir.
Oh my
It's
God.
yours." But they got smarter because that's stealing, and I made up go to the police or like tell somebody, and they could go to jail. So they got smarter, right? They started selling me stolen items. I think they were stolen because it was like from home or for some
Yeah.
um, magazine. Figurines, which I didn't like, but sometimes good stuff. Red Hot Chili Peppers cassette, which was I think I paid too much for it, but it was good.
Oh
But
my
they
God.
also sold me. They also sold me what they told me was weed, right? And I was like, weed. Whoa, I'm a cool kid now. I can smoking this, but I didn't know what weed smelled like or looked like at the time. And some of my friends they did, and they said, "Guy, buddy, this is not weed. This is tea." Just a tea. And
Oh my God.
I was so sad. I was so embarrassed. I smoked it anyway. Like, I enjoyed it. But yeah, there was
Oh
a
my
lot of
goodness. And
there
so
was a
how was
lot
it? How was it smoking tea?
uh the
Relaxing?
best. The best Trish. I do it now all the time. No, it was terrible. But yeah, there was a lot of talking, a lot of fighting, but also a lot of talking because I'm a gentleman, right?
Okay.
So two bullies in my classroom, they actually got to know me more. They got to tolerate me, and then they got to like me, and they even wanted to protect me. They even wanted to say to their other members that please don't touch this guy. This guy is cool, right? But the thing with bullies is, and the thing with circles or groups is that if somebody wants to be different, the others will drag you down. That's the vicious circle of these things. You can't escape. That's why you see in all the bully movies where one guy feels sad and like empathy for the guys, but the others start to bully them.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to themselves to be bullied. So they started to. They didn't bully me anymore, but they didn't do anything either. Later we partied and everything was fine, but just for now they left me alone.
Okay.
Care to guess what happened next?
Please don't tell me you joined the gang.
No, but slowly things were getting worse. For
Okay.
2 years, I was bullied. Some days were okay, some days were really bad. I'm gonna touch here upon their gang had a leader, and now
Okay.
here I think he had some sort of a sickness
Okay.
because he liked to torture animals and actually kill them. He was killing cats. That
Oh.
the girl, the gang member girl, which I dated at the time, she told me that she saw that he was just throwing cats against the walls behind the school just to kill them, and he had murder in his eyes. And the girl was in shock. She was crying and telling me all about it, and it was horrible. But remember him for later because the story ends with him, right?
Okay.
But yeah, Trish, I'm sorry, I did join a gang. So I did get into a wrong path for a while. Because when I moved back to Tartu, I also moved
Mm-hmm.
in a new neighborhood. It wasn't the worst neighborhood, but it wasn't the best either. There were lots of kids, and since we didn't have smartphones to hang out with all day, we didn't have computers or something. I had Nokia 3310, right? So I hang out a lot with other kids, with climbing trees, and actually I met a local dog there. I think he was a little Nazi actually, with shaved head and everything, and he wanted to kick my ass actually in the beginning. That's a long story, but we ended up being best friends.
Okay.
I ended up being his best friend. He was always so aggressive, and one moment he was laughing, and another he just want to punch you. And great guy. But we started our own gang together, and we called it Street Gang Rules. Huh? Better name than Flower Gang, right? Street Gang, right? We had
But
8 members.
I
Right?
think that in that moment, in the situation where you're in, it's kind of you had no choice. It's a little bit
Absolutely.
you either join them and survive, or they will continue to bully you. I
You
feel
wanted
that
to.
when we're young, we don't know better. That's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. You just go with the flow. You driven to similar kind of people, and we had total 8 members, and we were hanging out, and we were rapping, and we were smoking tea, right? And we were dreaming of becoming a real crime syndicate. Well, that was his dream. I was like, It was nice to belong to somewhere. But
Okay.
and we were always talking about going kicking flower gangs, but there it was just all talk and no action because these kids were just bored. They didn't want to deal with that stuff. But I did start thinking about self-defense at the time. So I joined the kickboxing class, and I got more confidence, more strength, and I started talking more about how I'm gonna, I'm a kickboxer now. So I
Right.
got beat up even more because of it.
Mm.
So at that time, it really broke me, and I started to carry a big knife with me, a big hunting knife, and it's just to scare them. I didn't want to hurt anybody, just to scare them. Thank God
Mm.
we're not living in the US, right, where we have lots of guns
Yes.
in
Yes.
Estonia. Because I knew a guy in US. He had a closet full of guns, like 13 guns. He had handguns, he had hunting rifles, and even automatic machine guns. And he was a normal dude. It's so easy to get them, from Walmart or gas station. But he got it from conference, which is mega cheap. He would never hurt somebody. But if you have that temptation there to have
Yeah.
guns, right? So I only had a knife. So one day something happened. I
Okay.
think I threatened their cat killing leader with my knife.
Mm.
And I remember this. He looked me in the eyes and he said that I'm gonna kill you after school or kick my ass. I don't know. I was so scared. I was scared out of my mind. I couldn't eat. I couldn't talk. I couldn't focus on work or anything. And
Mm.
it was the last class, the arts class. Everybody were painting something. My canvas was bare white. I couldn't focus. I was just looking at
Mm.
my broken backpack, which was still broken. I stitched it up myself because I think my father knew. He didn't want to buy me a new one. He just wanted me to confess or something. But so I stitched it up. I
Mm.
was looking at my backpack and my big knife and thinking that I'm gonna have to use it. But something magical happened there. I was also looking at my Nokia 3310, which was next to it, and this strength or confidence came over me, and I was thinking that who cares? Who cares about if I look uncool? Who cares about my ego? Who cares about what people think of me? I don't want to. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to feel this fear anymore. What can I do? I need help, Trish. I felt that I need help, and it doesn't matter if what's gonna happen. So I made a decision. Then I pick up my phone. I excused myself from class. I went outside and I called my father and I told him everything. My father said, "I'll be there in 20 minutes." He was there in 20 minutes. He had murder in his eyes as well.
Mm.
And he said, like, "Where is this guy?" I said, "Dad, don't, please." I said, "Where is he?" I said, "I don't know. He's somewhere around the school," he said. So we drive around the block a couple of times. I notice him in the alleyway. My father says, "Stay in the car." He comes up to him, talks to him. Next thing I know, my father is punching the guy in the face really hard several times.
Wow.
And the guy goes down. My father comes back to me, sits in the car, and we're driving away. And I'm shocked. I'm scared, but I'm feeling proud.
Yeah.
Somebody has my back. Like
Yeah.
somebody's out there for me. We got home. He hugged me, said, "Always come to me." And of course, I was afraid that the people would hear about that, and now I have even harder time. But I was so proud, but the news did spread. So the next day, I think the guy who punched me during the first day, a couple of times, he walked up to me and said, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna call your father again?" Eh? I said, "Yeah, I am." Right. Another guy tried to slap me, and I turned
Mm.
around, punched him in the face because now I had, kickboxing, and they did not touch me ever again because somebody had my back. I had
Yeah.
more confidence. I did not care about my ego anymore.
Right.
And then more years, more confidence, more strength. I left the gang, the street gang, soon enough. And
Good.
8th, 9th year, we were partying like nothing ever happened. Absolutely no bullying whatsoever. I am so grateful for this experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I wouldn't give it up for nothing. For nothing, Trish.
Right.
And in the end, I burned away all my hate and anger and sadness in a spiritual fire. But that's my story. You're such a good listener, Trish. What do you think of this story?
Ken, my God, thank you for sharing your story. My goodness. I really love the part where you said you had the courage to ask for help. And that is such, it seems like so insignificant, but it's so big. And many
It
of us have that problem of asking for help. That's the problem.
that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it
That's
sounds so small, but it's actually everything. We are scared that people will judge us. We are scared that people will think we are weak. All here, it's the ego.
you're living with this fear. It's corrupting you. It's making you, you're gonna lose appetite. You're gonna have physical illness out of it. You're sick all the time. You can't think. You can't communicate properly. It's driving you, and because this fear is constantly keeping you down. But everybody's going through. There are so many cases of people being bullied, and there are agencies who deal with that. And you just need to ask for help. I
True.
don't know why it's so difficult, but that's, it could save not only your life, but life of so many others.
Really true. Really, I totally agree, Ken. Totally. And listening to your story, I want to ask you something, Ken. You were saying that when you moved to this place and they looked at you and they saw you're different and they kind of target you. Do you think that it's just because of where you came from, your looks, or why did they target you? Like, can you put a finger on it? Why?
Looking
Or
back,
did they just do that to everyone?
now there were some other guys who got bullied. Yeah, there were the weaker guys in my classroom, but they were shy. They just ran away. I was something new. I was fresh meat. They sensed blood. It was, for the them, it was all about the social ladder and looking cool. Uh, like I said, they were already in a gang. They already had bad parents. They were already in trouble with the law and cops. They were stealing. They were fighting all the time. They had nothing better to do. They had so much strength in their little bodies, and they wanted to express that strength by hurting somebody who looked different, but just to bring them down to their level and feel good, better about themselves.
Right.
Uh, they were just kids going through puberty. Um, just that.
I agree that
Hey, me too.
people, these kids during this time, they go through puberty and yeah, okay, half of it I would say they don't know better. But looking back on, okay, I also had bullies in school. So because of I looked different, bear in mind that I went to a full Chinese school. So 99% of the kids were Chinese, looking like a Chinese person. I am part Chinese, I'm not full Chinese, so I looked different and I had a different name. So therefore, the weirdo always gets bullied.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh man.
But on top of that, if I think back on hindsight, there is something that I believe I was picked on because of the energy that I had. Let me explain.
Yeah,
I
please
feel
do.
I feel that bullies, they have this radar and they
Yeah.
can sense who is the weaker being.
Like
Like,
sharks.
yes, really. And if you don't have that confidence in you to kind of either stand up to them
Absolutely.
or to tell them that you're not worth my time, or to laugh it off with them, which this is actually
Exactly.
a different example,
It is
because there
very
was
good.
also this group of guys who used to make fun of my name. My full name is actually Patricia, Patricia Lee Cha-mei, so that's my full name. And in this Chinese school, Patricia is a Catholic name, and many of them don't have Catholic names. So again, this was a target for people to make fun of. Don't ask. It's a lot of bad person, and you don't want to know. Okay, so the
Oh,
point is, my name was being contorted into whatever form that you can imagine in your wildest imagination, and I hated it. I hated it so much. I couldn't understand why people couldn't just call me properly by my name and respect that name. That's why I battled with so much of low self-esteem. I hated myself in every way. I hated my name. I hated my skin. But coming back to the name calling, I had to deal with this name calling for a good 5, 6 years, and it came to a point where I was so fed up. Like you said, it's like a epiphany in one moment. I told myself, why do I even want to bother with them, like calling me names? Why do I want to give them the response that they want? The response that they want is that I get upset, right? That's what they
Exactly.
want. So
Exactly.
I don't give it to them, right? I just started to laugh it off with them. You know, Ken, the most magical thing happened. The next, in that moment, they were like, is Trish just laughing at herself? Literally, they were like,
She must be crazy.
you must be crazy. And I laughed even louder and I was like, oh, that's so funny. Oh my God, you're wasting my time. I was like that. And then it stopped like that. It just stopped. And then I learned that, hey, when you don't give them the response that they want, they'll just pray for someone else. And that's what I mean by energy. It I let them, I let their comments bother me, and that's why they picked on me. Get it?
Absolutely. That you hit the nail on the head. That's
Yeah.
that's what they want. They want to feel they're on the same level, and they want to make you feel lower and them higher. Every time they are insulting you, they're saying something. Your hair is weird, and you go like, "Ugh," and they're feeding off of that energy. They
Right.
get to you in like energy vampires or something, that they feed off of this negativity. But if you're not giving them that, if you have this confidence, this resilience, this you know yourself, you know who you
Right.
are, you know your values, you know that you're beautiful already, then you can laugh with them. They say, oh, your hair is weird. I say, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not as good as yours. I'm sorry, what type of
You will
conditioner are
throw
you
them off
using?
guard.
Yeah, you throw them off guard with your jokes. They say that you're ugly, right? And you say, oh, you're not an angel yourself, and they're like, what was that? You just respond to them with love and kindness instead of fear and anger, that which
Agreed.
they want. But let's talk about advice and takeaways of this thing.
Um, Ken, I'm sorry, I
Oh,
have
you
to.
have a question for me?
I have a question which I find that is really um good
Yes,
question. So
my
if you don't
friend.
mind, can we address it if you don't mind?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Provincia.
so Art of Nonsense ask, does it make sense to fight, to bully back if you know that you will lose? Specifically if the bully is bigger and stronger. So how about you answer first?
No, no. You shouldn't use physic because I tried. I have tried many times. You punch them, nothing happens. They get angrier, they punch you back, and with bigger force. So what you can do is again talk out of confidence and love, and make them feel uneasy with your positivity. That is so difficult to do when you're a kid. You don't know any better. There's so many hormones motion. You haven't seen the bigger picture of the world, and you're just out of fear. You just want to run away. So basically, you can ignore and run away. That's the best thing. Like even right now, I'm thinking that if I could have just make a weird face and run away, they would go like, what was that? It would mess with their head. Like it's like in some cartoon. You just run around the circle for a little while, make some weird noises, and then run away. They don't know what to do with that. You
Right.
mess with their cognition. But as a kid, as a teenager, you don't know. You don't know. You're just feared. You're frozen in there. So all you can do is just um, stay calm and say to them that, sorry, please don't hurt me. I'm like, or whatever you want, or whatever, but don't fight back, because you can get really hurt if
Right.
they're bigger and stronger. You know how to pick your battles. That's the first thing of martial arts.
Thank you, Ken, for sharing your thoughts. I
What do
Here's
you
what
think?
I would like to say. I agree with Ken. It's really important to pick your battles. And the reason for this is because I have learned one of the things in life is that life is really full of chapters. And when you're in school, you're in one chapter of your life. You move on to university, you're in a different chapter of your life. And then you move on to work, you're in a different chapter of your life. You get married, again, a different chapter of your life. It's really weird how when we are in a certain chapter and we are faced with all these problems, in this moment, we think that, oh my God, this is all there is. This is the friends that I'll have for the rest of my life. And I need to do something right now. I need to react. I need to do something because this will define the rest of my life. But the truth is, it's not. A lot of the things that are thrown to me back then when I was in primary school or secondary school, it doesn't really matter anymore. After a while, it's just in that moment, in
Exactly.
that chapter of your life. So you have to ask yourself in this moment, really look at it at the bigger picture. And I'm not just talking about the now, really look at the bigger picture. Does it really matter to you 5 years from now that you want to pick a fight with this person? What are you trying to prove? Proving it to yourself, or you're proving it
Yeah.
to who? Who are you proving it to?
Live another day.
Exactly. And I wanna add on one more thing here is interesting what Ken just now said about learning self-defense, because I too learned self-defense. But when I'm really angry, there's no karate thing here. I just kick someone's ass. So, but anyway, coming back to the point here, um, I had this conversation once with my husband, and I said that when my daughter is a bit older, right now my daughter, for all of you, if you don't know, she's about 2.5 years old. But when she grows older a little bit more, I would like for her to learn self-defense. And the reason
Oh
for
yeah.
this is because I know I'm a parent and I can't always be there for her, although I would like to be there for her. Because that's what my father always used to tell me. Trish, I love you. I would like to be there for you. And I'm sorry if I was never there for you. But I don't blame him. He's just human.
Of
Parents
course.
can't be there for us all the time. And the best way that a person can take care of herself is by learning self-defense when you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same here.
And
Wife, if you're listening, martial arts is gonna be Alexa's thing. Not soccer. Okay, if
Alexa
she
is
wants to
his
go
daughter.
to
Yeah.
tennis, it's fine. It's
Um,
great
so
question, Mitya. Great question.
yeah, coming back to self-defense, I would say that it's really nothing wrong to protect yourself when you need to protect yourself. But please remind yourself that pick your battles wisely. Is it really ask yourself first before you react? Is it worth it? If this person is not worth your time, just move on. But if someone is really consistently bugging you, bullying you in school, please apply what Ken said just now and get help, whether or not it's from your parents or whether or not it's from maybe a counselor within your school, or even if
Yeah.
there's an organization in your country which actually helps people, some rules and regulations against bullying, please go and get help. That's
Yeah.
what I would say. Yeah.
So, the two things that is really important. Like I said, get help. If your parents are not going to help you, talk to your teacher, talk to your sports teacher, talk to your principal or your friends' parents, anybody, or call a hotline. It's so important that you talk to somebody because you're not alone.
Yeah.
Another thing, really important thing, is you have to know yourself. That's the oldest philosophy. Socrates told you, if you know who you are, you build up this resilience. You build up this self-esteem, self-respect, and so no words can hurt you. Then, if somebody says that you're stupid, then you already know if you're stupid or not. You say, yeah, so are you. If somebody says that you smell, you can say, oh, thank you, yes. Oh yeah, I do smell. I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
shower afterwards. No problem. And you don't let it get to you. You're not in a dark, depressive place. You keep your mental health strong, because
Right.
everybody, you have to know what you're good at. If you're good at sports, good at math, good at singing, nobody's worthless. Like, don't be a fish trying to climb a tree, right? If you know yourself, nobody can tell you who you are. You already know that. But coming back to this thing about martial arts, Now, this is a solid advice. I just want to touch upon this topic because it's so close to my heart. Like Jackie Chan, or you one. When I was in the army or self-defense defense force, we started doing push-ups. We were in a new place. Everybody was scared. Everybody's head were shaven. We were like skinny kids, plucked out of society and placed into this weird mishmash of new emotions and stuff. But we started doing physical exercise, lots of push, crunches, running all the time. And I realized that after 1 month, everybody were so quiet and so scared, but then they build up strength and confidence, and they weren't afraid to speak their mind. So if you're building up strength, something amazing happens. You get to control your body more. So martial arts, I know a lot of people think that martial arts is just punching somebody in the face, bunch of savages, right? No, it's actually more. It's more
Yeah.
spiritual than that. I mean, yeah, you can play tennis or whatever, but if you're practicing a punch 1,000 times, that punch is no longer a punch. It becomes an extension of you.
Yeah.
Extension of your mind. Your mind gets more focused and more resilient, and you become mentally strong. But 13-year-old kids don't know this, right? But when your body, you have more control, you don't need to prove yourself anymore. You don't need to pick a fight. If there's a stronger guy coming at you, you might even get to take him, because he might be strong. Now I'm talking against myself, but you can punch them in where it hurts, down under.
Yeah.
Let's tingle a bit,
Or
and then run over.
the solar plexus.
Yes.
Y'all don't know what this is? Go and Google solar plexus.
Oh, that makes all the air comes out of you, and you can't.
Yep.
There are many ways, but you have to but you don't get upset. You get tough skin again. You don't care what people say. You get more confidence. So that's why martial arts is stilling your mind and knowing how to control your body. It's really important. Right?
Yeah. Truly.
Exactly. Boosting your confidence.
I actually have another question here. Really good question from Kathy, and she asked,
Kathy,
how old were you at the time of the name calling phase, adolescent phase, and hormones contribute on the way you are affected? What is your advice for someone watching this that are younger teens? Well, Kathy, Ken's story was when he was 12 and 13. Mine, I was, let me see, 9, 10. So young enough.
What do you know about life?
I faced bullying since I was 7 or 8, and I had it all up until I was 17. So a good 10 years, I guess, of bullying in school.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At home, it's I had to face my brother until I was 19, and then I moved to Singapore. So that was about.
That's amazing that you're here and healthy and helping other people. That's so amazing.
That's why I'm thankful I'm alive. See.
Wow.
Coming to one thing I want to touch on here, Kathy. If we're talking about cyberbullying, okay, because many teens here face cyberbullying, and interestingly, I did more reading about what's the protection that teens can get, and I learned that UNICEF, UNICEF is that correct? UNICEF, okay, sorry. They actually have like a whole website or page about this, and I put this link in the description below. So if for any one of you who's watching this, please, you can go and read out about this. You don't even have to be a teen, you can be an adult as well. And they touched on cyberbullying. What was interesting is they said that if you see an inappropriate comment on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you can actually screenshot it and send it to them. They have a team working on this.
Lots of big platforms have these where you can report somebody and use the evidence.
on YouTube itself, when we are managing comments, you can also report
Yeah,
these
they're going
people.
really hard on bullying.
Yes, because of like what you said earlier in this show, like, and it's totally true. How bullying can be sometimes way too much. It's too extreme that it's causing teens to take their own lives, which is so ridiculous. It's sad.
It's
Yeah.
it
So
shouldn't
coming,
happen.
it really shouldn't. So coming to my advice is, like I said, like we were sharing just now, either try to laugh it off, um, or get help with the right appropriate people that you trust. Yeah, that's what I would advise, definitely. And when you
He-
can, learn self-defense if these people start to get
um,
physical with you. Yeah,
I want to chime in, Kathy, here that
yeah,
when you're a parent, it's a really complex world, and you are very lucky if your child asks for help. Very lucky. You have done something right, raising them. But when they come to you, love and attention, no judgment.
yeah,
Just be there for support, because I was afraid that my father will go mad and go and talk to the teachers or whatever and make this thing even worse, like get me into even more trouble. They just
yeah,
come or they press you. Like, be stronger. Don't whine so much, or just, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to the teachers and the
yeah,
principals or whatever. But nothing really happens, makes things worse. But just listen to them and really listen, really get their attention and see what they're feeling, what their mental side is. I want my baby girl to come to me and tell me everything. But
yeah,
if I start going on my wisdom and giving my strong opinions without really listening, then she might lose the trust. She would never come to me.
yeah.
You just have to listen first. Cyberbullying. I was I got my first, like, I started using a computer when I was 6, 7 years old. I love chat rooms. I love the internet. But when I was moving back to the place in year 2000, I got my own first computer, and I was in the chat room all day, all night. I never did see, this type of bullying, because I think just there were lots of nerds just be happy on online. But nowadays we have smartphones, we have filters and Instagram and all those platforms, and that brings this standards of fake beauty into our life, where you can take a picture with filters, with lighting, with clothes, with makeup, with expensive locations, expensive clothes, and you take away all that. What you have broken self-esteem. And so no wonder these bullies are looking at these gorgeous girls online, and then they're looking at their classmates who are like weird looking and not even remotely like that. And it's so easy to pick and say you have big ears or you have weird
Yeah.
looking nose. And these girls will look at those photos as well and say, yeah, I don't have this Photoshop nose or like little ears. And they become to doubt their own self-worth and their own self-esteem and their own beauty and their own skills and abilities. But it is so easy to just block them. If you're on Snapchat or Instagram or anywhere, you can block them. You don't have to. If you're using some weird type of apps, I mean, like videos or movies, people chat with through some sort of forums, then
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
You know,
But
Ken, sorry, I just wanted to add on here. One thing interesting that I read about this cyberbullying is, and I totally agree, why it's happening more rampant is because they did a research on this, and it's really, yeah, well, what we have said, right? Bullies are actually people with low self-esteem. So cyberbullies, why it's happening more rampant is because people find it easier to be
yeah,
evil behind the screen, and I'm not have
yeah,
to like face you face
anonymous.
to face.
It's like
Yes,
road rage,
exactly,
right? You're behind the wheel and you can shout at everybody.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
And it also makes you, it's so disconnected, and it makes you feel so alone with you sitting in your dark room with your screen and reading these hateful comments, and nobody's there to see you or help you. You feel so alone, and that can bring you even a darker, more depressing place
yeah,
than in school. Also, I wanted to address this real quick. Everybody who's witnessing bullying, right? That's the thing. When I was being like grabbed by the throat, I saw people watching. They did nothing. That's another thing, the ignorance of good people, because we are so afraid to step up because we don't want to get bullied ourselves. We just ignore, continue with our day. But if you're seeing bullying and you're afraid to put your neck out, please just go anonymously, get help, tell somebody, tell a grown-up,
Yeah.
call some other friends, say that
Correct.
this guy is in trouble, just act upon.
And
Otherwise,
sorry, touching back on this just now, the UNICEF, they also said that it's not wrong when you report on behalf of someone you love.
yeah,
Because you yourself, maybe this person who's facing the bullying, you're scared. But if you as a third party, you see this, it's not wrong when you help this person by speaking up on their behalf.
yeah.
Yep.
I saw this app. I googled park.us, which is
Okay.
a type of a platform where you subscribe and you can hook up all your child's social platforms, and all the info goes through that platform, so you can monitor whatever's going on.
Okay.
And it has an artificial learning algorithm which kind of finds the suicidal messages or tries to pick up the suicidal thoughts or like really dark stuff that's going on. So it's not like monitoring everything your child says, which is
Yeah.
like big brothery. I don't I don't like that. But it tries to pick out some dark patterns evolving in all
Filtering
sorts
out.
of platforms. Yeah. So if you're really worried about your child, you could hook up through that platform, park.us. I can give you the
All
link
right.
afterwards.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
that's what I
Okay.
learned.
I also want to touch on bullying at work.
Yes.
Okay, because we haven't had the time to touch on this yet. So, what is your thoughts about getting bullied at work, and what would be your advice for someone who's getting bullied?
Well, depends who's bullying you. If your manager is your right up manager is bullying you, there's not much you can do to then talk to him because nobody else is going to help you. You can, but the first thing anyway is how serious is it? If it's just insults, yeah, you have to talk to him. You have to know what you're worth. Do you want to deal with this? Do you want to deal with this company? You can go above them, but you have to get help. Again, talk to your colleagues. Let somebody else know. But if it's one of your colleagues, then again, just ask for help. That's it. Be a grown up and just ask for help. Tell everybody how you're feeling. You're feeling sad, depressed, you can't work, your productivity suffers. That's one thing that everybody doesn't want to do because they don't want to inconvenience nobody. But we are all in this life together. We can belong to groups, like you said. We can put labels on us. We can be nerds or jocks or bullies or cool people or singers or whatever, and introverts, extroverts, whatever. But we are not stuck in that groups. We can move around. We can decide. We don't have to be mentally stuck in one sort of a stagnant hole. So, you might be depressed. A year from now, you can be really happy and have lots of friends, and you have to keep that in mind. So, and we can do that by connecting with others, asking help. Everybody goes through that.
Yeah.
That's my advice. Just talk to them.
Ken, I agree with what you said. You have to also kind of assess how bad is the bullying. And one thing that Kathy here shares, and I agree, bullying at work is also one of the things you can do is let your human resource know. Like you said, ask for help. And one thing I want to add on here is sometimes certain companies have actually rules and regulations against bullying. So
Yeah.
it's really good to talk to, like you said,
They
manager,
crack down.
human resource. Yeah.
I have
And
worked in sorry to
no worries.
interrupt you there, but I have worked in so many places which are not corporate, which are just you go in there, do your work, you get out, you get paid in envelope cash. So these things, they don't work. They don't have human resource. They don't have these fancy scripts for what you can do with bullying. So
True.
depends. If you're working in Google, sure, go for it. They will help you out.
True. And sorry, I want to add on another, maybe not so orthodox method, which was what I did with my manager.
What did you do, Trish?
Sorry.
What did you do now?
I
You put a rotten egg somewhere?
No. I was so tired of her picking on me on every single small thing that it came to a point one day when she said, Trish, this is not good enough. Redo this document, refile this document, read it. I looked at her and I said, you know, I think I'm just too stupid for this. I think it's better if you do it. And then I just walked away.
Mic drop. That was a mic drop moment, yeah? Wow. And you quit your job?
I continued for a while more, but after that day, she was like, I can't believe she talked to me like that. I said, what? It's true, I'm too stupid for you. Like, you're way too smart for me. Like, I think it's better if you do it. You do it perfectly. Like, I'm just not your standard. I am like below your feet.
That's a classic one where you just don't let you go down. You just respond with dignity, respect, honor.
Exactly.
But little bit of cheekiness as well.
Yeah, you're professional, and you just give them exactly like what I was saying just now. We were sharing earlier. I didn't give her the response that she wanted from me, which was usual. I will get angry, I will roll my eyes, and I'll be like, oh, this woman. But no, this time I was, okay, I'm too stupid for this. Let me just walk away.
But bullies, if you have self-confidence, if you know who you are, then you can tell them what you're worth.
Yeah. So true. What was this? Sorry, Relaxing Musica shared the Royal College of Edinburgh did a wonderful job concerning this issue, but I think it should be more and more. They spend a whole year sending me emails with wonderful slogans against bullying. Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
That's wonderful. Wow. It's like every country in the world is dealing with this stuff. Everybody. And you need to know that you're not alone. Everybody's dealt with it.
Really, really. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're young, you're old. Oh my God, there's bullies in every
There's bullies in those retirement homes as well. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah. So true.
But yeah, you have to. Another thing is find some friends. Find a similar group of people. Find out what you love.
A positive,
music.
Good support group.
Yeah. Who you can trust. Who you can really trust. Who you can tell your secrets. You have a friend if you're sharing your deepest secrets. There are good people out there. Like you, Trish.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. All right. So to all of you who's here, thank you so much for being with us. If you have any other questions right now, please do drop it in the comment section right now. While y'all are writing your questions, if any, I just want to say that if y'all want to check out Ken's channel, please do. The link is in the description below. It's full of inspiration, full of very, very deep, thought-provoking videos. That's what I would say. Okay,
we're all spirits living in this universe, having a human experience, and it can be magical if you have the strength and desire to explore it.
Yes. So thank you so much. Right now, let me just look at some of the last comments here. Bullying can harm you and your patients. Yep, definitely. Thank you to all of you who are here and for watching the show. You all are so amazing. Thank you for participating. Ken, I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for this opportunity.
No, thank you, Ken. And I want to also take this moment to share with all of you. I think if you've seen my post, that this show right now is my last for this episode of or series of Ask Trish Anything. But I will come back hopefully by end of this year or early next year. But my uploads for Thursday is still all as usual. So don't stress, guys. Don't stress. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ken. I will see you around Instagram and YouTube. Take care, and thank you to all of you. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Bye.